Hello, what we'd like to do in this video is take you through the math of sales and operations planning. So we're going to do this at a very basic level, and you'll see up on top of our grid, we see make to stock, and below we see make to order. So in both cases, we look at sales plan versus actual, production plan versus actual. In the case of make to stock, it's inventory plan versus actual because you're making parts or pieces for stock. And then in make to order, it's the same sales plan actual, production plan versus actual. But we talk backlog plan versus actual because we're not talking pieces of an item anymore. We're talking about actual customer orders. So backlog by definition is orders in house, not yet shipped. So those could be orders anywhere in the process, delayed, behind, in process, and current, or out in the future. So what we're going to have here is we'll start with make to stock first. You see I have a sales plan up there of the numbers for each month, and I kind of changed them around a bit. And we're going to do a level production plan, which means we're going to make the same thing every month. You could do chase strategy, which means every month you're going to produce exactly what you plan on selling, which if you think about that, if you make exactly what you need, you're never going to have inventory going up or down. In this case, we're going to do level, so you can see the math going both directions. So what we have to do is add up all the sales plans, see what that total is, and divide by 12 periods. Now I've done that ahead of time. We had 1,700 forecasted total, so divide that by 12, and then we get 142 rounded off for our production plan. So our production plan each month is going to be 142 all the way across. And I'm just going to put the arrow across where you would write in the numbers just to kind of shorten things up here. So in a make to stock environment, extra goes into inventory. So if we look at the first period, we're going in starting with 100. The plan is to produce 142 and only sell 100. So the extra 42 goes in inventory. Same thing happens in periods 2, 3, and 4 in this case. We're just doing this to keep it simple. So an extra 42 when you produce more goes into inventory. So we're up to 184, and then we're up to 226, and then finally we're up to 268. Okay? And that's because we were doing 142 per month. So we're going to keep going because we said level production. So let's do the next 4 months with 142. So in this case, we're selling 150. We're only producing 142 of them. So the other 8 come from stock. So in period 5, we're going to go down by 8. We're going to pull the other 8 from inventory to sell it. We'll be down to 260. And then in period 6, 7, and 8, we'll drop by another 8 pieces each period. So we'll be down to 252, 244, 236. Okay? And then the last period, we're still going to go with 142 a month, even though the demand varies. And so in period 9, we're building 142. We're only shipping, or the plan is only ship 120. So the extra 22 go into stock. So we're up to 258. Period 10, we plan to sell 200. We're down to 142. Or excuse me, we're planning on producing 142. So we're going to use up 58 from out of stock and have 200 left. Period 11, we're going to build an extra 62, which again, 142 minus 80. And then in period 12, we're going to build an extra 42, so we're up to 304. Now, what happens because sales and operations planning is a ongoing updating process, as sales numbers change, we may change the forecast, which might change our production plan, etc. But what we'll do here is just do a couple months here so you can kind of capture the sense of what's going on here. So let's look at period 1. Let's say sales brings in 110 instead, and we build the 142. So instead of an extra 42 going into stock, what actually happens is 32 goes into stock, 142 minus 110. So the additional 32 goes into stock, and we're up to 132. Now that may cause us to change the sales plan down the road, or it may not. Same thing then, the production plan and the inventory plan may change accordingly with what happens on the sales plan. But let's assume in period 2 we sell another 110, we build another 142, then we're only up to 164. And then the third period, we're up to, let's say sales only brings in 90 and we build 160. In that case, we pick up an extra 70 units and then we've got 234. So this is the process that we go through for make to stock, and I'll write it on the right side. Extra goes into inventory. Okay? And this is how we do the math for make to stock. In the next video, we'll do S&OP for make to order.